Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Sudhir Kumar. I'm a dental surgeon, ex-assistant commandant. I have given 5 interviews for UPSC and I'm an educator for UPSC for Anthropology Optional. Right? This is my brief introduction, and here today we are just discussing what anthropology is, what we are going to study, how we are going to study, how your journey would be. So that's the purpose of this discussion. So let's start. You have this syllabus with you. You have gone through the syllabus earlier also. You must have gone through some of my videos also. My pedagogy, how I teach, how I explain, how I don't explain. Okay, so what are the goods and bads about me, you must have gone through. Okay, so when we talk about anthropology, this paper is divided, this optional subject is divided into two papers for UPSC. Paper 1 and paper 2. Right? This paper 1 is basically the general anthropology, and paper 2 is anthropology in Indian context. That means Indian anthropology, application of anthropology on Indian settings. Now this paper 1 is subdivided into 4 subdivisions, 4 branches. The first is the socio-cultural anthropology. Second is biological anthropology. Third is linguistic anthropology. And archaeological anthropology. Okay, if you look at the syllabus that is given to you, the PDF that is available in front of you, the paper that is available. So if you look into this, then starting from unit 2 up to unit 5, 2.1 is culture, 2.2 is society, 2.3 is marriage, 2.4 is family, 2.5 kinship, 3 economic organization, 4 political organization, and 5 religion. These are parts of socio-cultural anthropology. If you look at the unit number 6, this is anthropological theories, right? If you look at unit number 8, that is research method. Biological anthropology, that means biological aspect of human, that start from 1.4 goes up to 1.7, okay, and then it starts from 9.1 and goes up to unit 12. Okay, 1.4 is basically the organic evolution, biological evolution. 1.5 is primatology, study of monkeys, study of gorillas, that is there. 1.6 is study of fossils. 1.7 means cell, what is cell? And 9.1 onwards we have again biological anthropology. Then we have linguistic anthropology. Unit 7. Unit 7 is language, culture, language and communication. That is unit 7. Then archaeological anthropology, it is mentioned in unit 1.8. Unit 1.8 of paper 1. This is the syllabus for paper 1. You need to understand from where a unit start, what is given in which part. If you don't have that understanding, then fetching this score would be very, very difficult, and our ultimate goal is to reach at least within the range of this score. Okay? And it is very much achievable, although yes, these marks, they are variable from year to year. They are variable. Say sometime the topper is 307, right? So we have produced toppers who have scored highest when it was 307, and even when it is more than 320 also we have produced. Okay, so naturally it can be achieved. So when it can be achieved, first you have the understanding of the syllabus. But understanding of the syllabus is one thing. Second thing is that connecting the syllabus with day to day happening. Why it is needed? UPSC doesn't want a person who had mugged up some things. Rather, they want someone who can think critically, who can connect the dots. चार चीज याद तो कोई भी कर लेगा, isn't it? Now you live in a knowledge society. You understand what is knowledge society? In knowledge society, knowledge is at the fingertips. You just ask the Google, you ask the Chat GPT or anything, knowledge is available. But can Chat GPT debate on citizenship? Can it provide a conclusive answer who is a citizen? Recently, there is a debate triggered by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that passport is just a travel document. It is not a conclusive proof of citizenship. Now, who is a citizen and who is not? That decision, that debate can be done by humans because that require decision making. AI can give you options, but it cannot give you a decision. So, what are the limitations of AI? Up to what extent it can understand human behavior and where it fails to understand. That we need to understand. And that is where you need to connect the knowledge with the day-to-day happenings in the newspaper. Okay? If you are studying some topic and you are not able to connect things, there will be two problems. One, you would fail to understand this, you will fail to retain the concept. आप कॉन्सेप्ट को रिटेन नहीं रख पाओगे. कॉन्सेप्ट को रिटेन रखने के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए कि आप उस कॉन्सेप्ट को, उस थ्योरी को रिलेट करके देख पाओ, है ना. वाई यू डोंट फॉरगेट मैथमेटिक्स फॉर्मूलाज? बिकॉज यू रिलेट विद दैम, right? Why you don't forget the physics theorems? Because you can relate with them. You think that there is a proper way to derive an equation, isn't it? So once you have derived, that means you have understood how to connect the dots. So here our purpose would be to connect the dots with everything, right? So first you need to know the syllabus, then connect the syllabus with everything. That would make things interesting also. And let me connect some things, then you will learn how we are going to do it. Ayatollah Khamenei is in news very recently. Why? His funeral is about to be performed in 2-3 days, isn't it? His funeral is in news. Now, why funeral is important for us? Why funeral is important for any society at all? Do you know that all the Iranians, they are coming together now for this mourning, इस sorrow को feel करने के लिए. That means this funeral is a performance of unity for the entire Iran. All Iranians are united around the funeral. So when funerals are conducted, so funerals are basically something that evoke a sense of collective belongingness, a sense of collective effervescence, collective belongingness, isn't it? Now, death basically is associated with some kind of anxiety, instability, isn't it? Death means instability, death means anxiety, death means fear. How to get rid of that fear? Funeral is a mechanism devised by the society through which we can deal with that biological anxiety, that you can say biopsychic anxiety. Anxiety is associated with many biological phenomena also. Then आप अगर एंग्जियस हैं तो आपका बीपी बढ़ जाता है, आपको डर के मारे भूख नहीं लगती है ना, बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. तो ये बायोसाइकिक फंक्शन है फ्यूनरल का. तो हम फ्यूनरल को सिर्फ फ्यूनरल नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, हम उसको कनेक्ट करके देख रहे हैं कि सोसाइटीज में फ्यूनरल आया ही क्यों, ऐसा रिचुअल शुरू ही क्यों किया, राइट? Why? And since when we are doing funerals? When did this idea of funeral came into being? We have evidence from the Neanderthals. Are you aware of Neanderthals? We have some evidences from Shanidar cave. Okay, and from there we have found that a Neanderthal body was buried, and around it some floral remains were also there. Floral remains, you understand? Flowers were placed besides the body when it was buried. So we try to understand the news in that manner. Last week, or I think 2-3 days back, a nurse in Thailand went to an accident site, and that accident site was that few monks were crashed by a motor vehicle, and some of them died there itself. So when medicos were called, a nurse came. Okay, and in Theravada Buddhism, which is practiced in Thailand, women are not allowed to touch the monks. That is basically how they maintain their ritual purity. Women are not allowed to touch the monks. When she reached there, so she immediately started CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Purpose was to revive if someone can be saved. Okay, and when someone tried to say that is it wrong, so simply said, this is not a monk, it is a patient. So how identity of a monk was transformed into an identity of patient by a doctor. We try to see how society perceive a person in different settings, right? When he was full, you can say normal person, he was a monk, but lying on the road, he became a patient for the doctor. So how we feel about people and then how we react to it, that is something human behavior, isn't it? Monk को टच नहीं करना है, पेशेंट को टच कर सकते हैं, isn't it? That's how we define things, that's how we justify things. Now, don't you think that women are not allowed to touch the monks? It's regressive practice. How can you say that women not touching women is anything how good practice? Feminist anthropologists would see it wrong. It's a wrong practice or it's a good practice? Is it good or is it a wrong practice? How do you see this? Don't you think the similar kind of thing was there in India also? Sabrimala, women are not allowed to enter into the temple. Should we judge the practices or should we not? That's an anthropological question again. Should we judge other cultures? Because every culture have its own belief system. Okay, if a god is there and that god or the belief says that women are not allowed, so should we say that it is wrong, regressive practice? So there can be two set of thoughts. One says, no, it is not wrong because every culture is unique. But what if that uniqueness in the culture is violative of human rights? भाई आपने क्या बोला कि monk को ना टच करना एक कल्चरल प्रैक्टिस है, right? Not to be touched by women. Why? This touch would violate the ritual purity of the monk, isn't it? That means women को monk से दूर रहना है. This is what the culture prescribe. Is it good or bad? That is the question. Is this practice good or bad? So there are two set of arguments. One set of arguments says it is good. Why it is good? Because it is their culture. So we will not judge. Who am I to judge them? Who you are to judge them? That's their culture, and culture has developed in course of its own time. I am no one to judge them. That concept is called cultural relativism. Okay, when you look at this cultural practice through this relativistic lens, that means you'll say it is okay. It is okay. But there is another perspective also. Don't you think it is against women? Don't you think it's against women? So that's feminist perspective. Some feminists would look at the same phenomena from the gender lens कि गलत है ये तो. यहाँ हम कह रहे हैं ठीक है. Isn't it? So this is one such example that we are trying to understand it. Then third perspective is the biomedical perspective. What is biomedical perspective here? It says it is not a monk. Rather, it is a patient. ये तो monk है ही नहीं, ये तो patient है. कौन है ये? Isn't it? So anthropologists look at things through different ways. कि कोई है क्या? Right? Are you a female? Are you a woman? Are you both? Can there be a female but not a woman? My question is, you may find it bizarre. Can there be a male but not a man? What if someone doesn't recognize himself as man, but he is biologically male? Who gave these categories to you that I am a man, I am a woman? These are the categories given to you. I belong to this religion. I belong to this caste. These are the categories given to you. Is there something inherent in me that make me man? Is there something inherent in me that make me belonging to a particular religion or to a particular caste? These are the questions that we anthropologists ask. And I believe you must understand this, that is this a monk or is this a patient? It's a very much anthropological question. That means we deal with identities of humans. Okay? And we simply believe that biology is not just the destiny. Biology is not just the destiny. Society creates its own meaning and give that meaning to the people. Meaning is created by society. That I am a man, that's a meaning created based on the attributes of biology. Isn't it? Monk again is a meaning created by the society and it is based on some attributes, and this is the attribute. Monk means purity. And what can make monk impure? These are also decided by the society. That these things are to be done and these things are not to be done. Isn't it? If someone touches this, so what can happen? Society बताता है हमें. All these things we try to understand. ठीक है? थोड़ा सा आपको लग रहा होगा कि ये तो हम रोज ही बात करते हैं, हमने तो रोज ही देखा होता है, इसमें कौन सा एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है? यही एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है, सिंपल ही है, इतनी ही सिंपल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है. बट क्या है कि हम सोचते नहीं है. हमने कभी सोचा नहीं कि इस तरह सोचा जा सकता था इन चीजों पे, कि ये भी कॉन्सेप्ट हो सकता था. इज देयर एनी डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेक्स एंड जेंडर? इज देयर एनी डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेक्स एंड जेंडर? Sex is biological. Gender is socially constructed. Gender is socially constructed and sex is biology. How biology? That means your anatomical features define whether you belong to the category of female or male or intersex. society tell you based on those attributes that you are a man and you are a woman, or you are a hijra, or you are belonging to this category. Isn't it? Few days back, Trump says, I believe in two genders, men and women. He simply said, I believe in two genders. What about Indian society? Do we believe in just two genders? No. Hijras are essential part of Indian society from the time immemorial. We do recognize this category, Hijras. This is a third gender, not men, not women. And there's a work also written by Serenananda. Neither men nor women, Hijras of India. This is a book written by Serenananda on Hijras. So एक है ट्रंप का आर्ग्यूमेंट कि सच्चाई क्या है, ये ट्रंप की रियलिटी है, ट्रंप को लगता है ऐसा सही है, और हम लोगों को इंडियंस को क्या लगता है, राइट? एंड ट्रंप से डिसएग्री करने वाली उनकी खुद की जनता है. ट्रंप से डिसएग्री करते हैं जो कि मानते हैं कि एलजीबीटी लोग भी होते हैं, और वहां तो बहुत बड़ी कम्युनिटी है. Isn't it? So who am I? That is the discussion that anthropologists have. ठीक है? Okay. So I believe you understand this is basically our idea that we are going to study. I'm coming on to that thing, right? So our first purpose is not just to mug up few things, rather connect those things with day-to-day life. Everything that is happening in and around you, you should be able to establish a connection between the two. The same that you have seen here is also there in paper 2. If you just look at this 1.8, then look at paper 2, 1.1. And 1.3. 1.1 and 1.3, both of these are archaeology. Look at 1.2. Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus, Narmada men. Right? This 1.2 and 1.6 of paper 1. Just check the connection. 1.6 of paper 1 and 1.2 of paper 2. There was fossils and this is also fossil. Is it clear? Okay. Now look at the unit number 2, demographic profile of India. In demographic profile, it must be given the racial classification. Is it mentioned? Demographic profile of India, unit 2 of paper 2. Racial classification is mentioned or ethnic classification is mentioned. Ethnic classification, that means racial classification. Okay, that syncs with 9.5 of paper 1. 9.5 of paper 1 and unit 2, demographic profile. Just after the ethnic classification, it must be mentioned linguistic classification. Okay, that linguistic classification would come with language. Okay, understood? And then population. Population factors that influence population structure and all. That is also mentioned. Look at unit 11 of paper 1. Demography. Unit 11 of paper 1 and the second unit. So second unit that you are looking at, it has intersection with language, it has intersection with biology, and it also have intersection with the biology unit 11 also, demography. Demography means the study of population. GS में पढ़ते हो demography? पढ़ते हो ना, birth rate, death rate, all these things you study in the GS also, the same things with a little interest. Understood? Unit 3 and go from you can say unit 3 onwards up to unit 5. It involves socio-cultural anthropology. Caste, village, this is what the study. In between the unit 4 that is there, that is thinkers, anthropology of India. and that goes with 6th unit. So 6th unit and 4th unit, they are together. 6th unit of paper 1 and 4th unit of paper 2. Then you start with unit 6 to 9. Unit 6 to 9. In 6th unit, 6.1, if you look, then there is biogenetic variability of tribals. That means again biology, linguistic classification of tribals, language, linguistic classification of tribals, that is here, and then the characteristics, their marriage type, geographical distribution, that goes with socio-cultural, right? And then from there onwards, whatever we have seen, the impact tribal problems, impact of industrialization and urbanization on tribal people, then we look at nation state and tribals, development projects and tribals, forest policies and tribals, ethnicity, all these topics are part of socio-cultural. If you look at the entire paper of anthropology, so almost 62% is socio-cultural, right? Almost you can say 30%, 25% approx is biology, right? And the rest is combinedly this. Okay, this is what anthropology is. Now, when we look at anthropology, we basically try to understand human. And we study human over space and over time. We look at human over space and time. When we look at human over time, that means we are trying to understand evolution of humans. From ape to human. That's our main goal. We try to understand evolution of human society from primitive to advanced, right? From simple society to the complex society. Okay, we try to understand the evolution of language also. Initially, if you just look at a chimpanzee or a gorilla, how they communicate? They communicate with gestures. This is gorilla gesture, isn't it? Chest thumping and many other things. So mainly they are communicating with gestures, facial expressions, and some hoots, but they don't have words the way we communicate. So how the gestural language to full-fledged language, we try to understand that. We try to understand human over space also. That means the diversity. We try to understand the diversity among humans in different places. In what terms? So biological diversity. That means people of Africa, they look different. People of Europe, they look different. People of South India look different. That of Northeast India look different. That of Southeast Asia look different. Isn't it? Those who are adapted to the Arctic climate, Eskimos, they look different. Those who live in the Tanzania and Kenya, the lean and tall blacks, have you seen those? There's a dancer also, a very good performer, Bollywood की song पे perform करता है ना? क्या नाम है उसका? I forgot his name, but he danced very well on Bollywood songs with his sister. नहीं देखा कभी? एक अफ्रीकन है, ईस्टर्न अफ्रीका से, बड़ा लीन और टॉल है, right? So if you look at within the Africa, then Negro people, the dark-skinned people, they have differences. On one margin, we have Negritos, very small-sized Negroes, Pygmoid people, Pygmies. You might have heard. On the other hand, we have very lean and tall blacks. And if you go to Nigeria, we have stocky-built blacks. Right? So it's not like that people used to think of the Negro population or the dark-skinned population as a monolith. No, it is not. there is biological diversity even among them. Even if you look at the Mongoloid people, there is diversity among them also. If you look at Indians, there is huge diversity among Indians in terms of skin color, in terms of nose, in terms of body features. There's huge diversity, isn't it? So we try to understand that biological diversity. Why biological diversity exists? Is it just because of the biology that we look different, or there are some factors that are social also? Is there anything to do with social aspects also when it comes to your physical features? Is it purely biology? It's not purely biology in humans. The differences are maintained by endogamy, marriage within the group. So if a caste have a different characteristics, biological characteristics, it's because they stopped doing marriage with other castes. So that choice of marrying is a social practice and it contributes to biological differences. When society is changing, urbanizing, what is happening? Exogamous marriages are rising. Marriage of a person outside the caste. That means intercaste marriages are rising. So intercaste marriages are responsible for dilution of biological differences also between the castes. Isn't it? Will it change or not? If a North Indian and a South Indian are marrying, don't you think the biological background of the two may be different? And the progeny, the children, would inherit from both. So they may have a different biological type. Is it clear? So what is responsible for the diversity? It's not just biology. There is the element of marriage. Whom you marry, whom you do not marry. Now you might have heard this sickle cell anemia. How many of you heard? Sickle cell anemia. Government also have a mission with about sickle cell anemia. Have you heard this term? इसमें होता क्या है? नॉर्मली हम सब की जो सेल होती हैं, आरबीसी जो होती हैं, वो ओवल शेप की होती हैं. ऐसा शेप होता है नॉर्मली आरबीसी का. आरबीसी जो ब्लड के अंदर होती है. बट सिकल सेल वालों की आरबीसी ऐसी शेप की हो जाती है, सिकल शेप की. ठीक है. अब सिकल सेल एनीमिया क्यों होता है? क्योंकि ये जो सिकल शेप की आरबीसी है, इसकी लाइफ साइकिल उतनी नहीं होती जितनी की नॉर्मल आरबीसी की होती है. तो इनके अंदर खून की कमी आ जाती है. ठीक है. Where does this sickle cell anemia found? So sickle cell anemia is mainly found in the areas where there is high prevalence of malaria. जहां पे मलेरिया का रेट ज्यादा है, वहां पे सिकल सेल एनीमिया होने के चांस भी ज्यादा है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये जो डिजीज है सिकल सेल एनीमिया, ये अडेप्टेशन प्रोवाइड करती है मलेरिया के लिए. दिस इज अडेप्टिव अगेंस्ट मलेरिया. राइट. सो उन लोगों में जो मलेरिया इन्फेस्टेड रीजन में रहते हैं, वहां ये ट्रेट ज्यादा मिलेगा. नाउ इफ दिस ट्रेट इज फाउंड, सो दिस ट्रेट इज सर्कुलेटिंग विद इन द पॉपुलेशन. दैट मीन्स ये ट्रेट है तो ये लोग ज्यादा दिन नहीं रहते हैं. मतलब अगर कोई सिकल सेल एनीमिया वाला है तो उसके सर्वाइवल के चांसेस रिलेटिवली कम होते हैं. जैसे जैसे वो बड़ा होगा उसके चांसेस, उनको प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाती हैं बहुत तरह की. राइट. अब ये जो ट्रेट है सिकल सेल एनीमिया का, कुछ ट्राइबल पॉकेट्स में सेंट्रल इंडिया एंड साउथ इंडिया, इट इज सर्कुलेटिंग. व्हाई इट इज सर्कुलेटिंग? बिकॉज ऑफ कजन मैरिज. ठीक है. एंड इफ यू लुक एट द इंडियाज मैप एंड इफ यू गो एंड चेक where does we have maximum cases of sickle cell anemia, then you will find among the tribal people we have high frequency of sickle cell anemia, not in other populations. Why it is there? One, biology, and one, marriage practice. So we try to understand the biological differences. We also try to understand the socio-cultural differences. What kind of socio-cultural differences we have in terms of marriage, in terms of family, in terms of religion, in terms of political organization? We have differences. isn't it? What kind of marriage you know? Monogamy? That's what you know, na? Monogamy means marriage of one person with another person. That is monogamy. Having one spouse is monogamy. What about polyandry? Hatti tribe of Himachal Pradesh, last year, two brothers married to a single woman and it was a national news. Are you aware of it or not? Last year, two educated men, married a single woman in Himachal Pradesh. This kind of relationship is called as polyandry. And polyandry is not just found in the Hatti, rather many tribes, many social groups of Himalayas, including in Tibet. Okay, so marriage that we know, one type marriage is monogamy, another type is polyandry. Poly means multi and andry means husbands, multiple husbands, a single wife. There is reverse arrangement also, one husband, multiple wives, that's polygyny. We also have such examples, isn't it? You might have heard that in Islam polygyny is practiced. It is practiced by some Hindus also, right? Although Hindu Marriage Act does not allow it, so people do take recourse to different measures to go around, and it is found among the tribal communities also. So there is polygyny as well. So marriage is not just marriage. So what we see, differences in marriage practices in different societies. And why does some groups are polyandrous? Why some groups are polygynous? There must be some logic. क्यों कर रहे हैं? कोई तो कारण होगा ना. Why would someone accept more than one spouse? It's a big question to ask. Would you accept more than one spouse? नहीं होगा. But societies do prefer. Why societies prefer then? See, when we talk about that, why polyandry? That means one wife, multiple husbands, and it is found in Tibet. It is found in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, these hilly areas. So in hilly areas, rocky land is there. Right? That means less productivity, especially in the past. प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या होगा? कम होगी. अब अगर पॉपुलेशन की ग्रोथ ज्यादा हो जाए तो दे वोंट बी एबल टू एडजस्ट विद दैट those resources that are available in that area. ठीक है? So what they have done, they have devised this polyandrous marriage as an adaptation to this reduced productivity. How? Just look at it. Say these are two brothers. They married to a single wife. Circle is representing women, triangle representing men. Okay. Now, if they are married to a single wife, how many kids they may produce? Say they produced two babies because women is one, तो दो ही produce करेगी, right? Now, take the other case. Both brothers married to different wives. They produce say two children. It can be man, female. So they have produced say four. So in one generation, generation 1 to generation 2, population is constant. Generation 1 to generation 2, population is expanding. Next generation, कितना हो जाएगा? All of these are marrying. So within few generations, what will happen? यहाँ पे 8 आ जाएगा. I'm just taking a hypothetical case. So in generation 3, we have 8, and generation after generation is exploding. So polyandry is an adaptation to the environment. Why some societies practiced in Himalayas, in hilly terrain, in rocky terrain, because it helped them to adapt. Understood? So we don't judge that people are polyandrous, polygynous. We try to understand why do they practice this kind of custom. Why this kind of marriage? Why this kind of family? Why this kind of religious belief? We don't judge religious beliefs. We try to understand why one religion allows something, why it doesn't allow something. Why monks are considered as pure and they are kept at a distance from women. There must be a logic behind it. And that logic had to be understood in their own context. I am no one to judge it. Now suppose you say, you and me start judging it, that this polyandry is wrong. If I say it's wrong, the moment I say it's wrong, can I understand their logic? If you start judging it, the moment I say it's wrong, that means at this moment judgment starts. And when you start judging something, you can never understand that thing. Right? Because judgment is blinding you. You are biased at that moment. When you start judging something, you become biased. You just look at the problems. You never look at the context. Why it started. What could be the logic of the people? Isn't it? Now say, some people would say कि people की पूजा करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए. Are you aware people worship? In India, people is being worshipped. Why people worship? Why people worship people? People का paid, people worship people मतलब people का paid. हाँ, why people worship in India? I just wanted to hear some logic. There must be some, huh? Why it is considered sacred? Why people is considered as sacred? हाँ हाँ, तो ऑक्सीजन ज्यादा देता है इसलिए इसको ठीक है. बाकी पेड़ ऑक्सीजन कम देते हैं क्या? ठीक है. क्यों? ज्यादा पत्ते होंगे तो ज्यादा ऑक्सीजन देगा, है ना, क्योंकि पत्तों में स्टोमेटा होता है वहीं से ऑक्सीजन रिलीज होता है ना. ठीक है, ओके. चलो ये बात बिल्कुल सच है. तो पीपल नाउ व्हाई काउ वर्शिप? Although it's very sensitive to say, but still we have to explore. Why worship of cow? मिल्क तो बफेलो से भी मिलता है. यस, बिल्कुल ठीक है. सारे बाय प्रोडक्ट्स भैंस भी देती है. सारे बाय प्रोडक्ट्स जो है, ऑल द थिंग्स दैट यू कैन डिराइव फ्रॉम काउ कैन बी डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम द बफेलो आल्सो. आर वी रेसिस्ट? आर वी रेसिस्ट कि काउ और बफेलो? तो व्हाई देयर इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन विद रिगार्ड टू बफेलो? देन बफेलो को यमराज से जोड़ दिया, isn't it? Why do we worship cow and why we don't worship other? Is there any real logic, or that it may be just symbolic? People do eat in America, people do eat all the animals, but they don't like to eat dogs. They don't like to eat dogs. If you are eating any animal, dog is equally proteinous. Why don't you like dog meat? तो लॉजिक से बियॉन्ड सिंबल्स हैं और लोगों ने सिंबॉलिक मीनिंग चीजों को दे दिया. देयर मे बी लॉजिक but it may be beyond logic also. When it comes to religion, it's sometime beyond logic. You cannot always have a logic in religious beliefs. Okay? So we try to understand these differences which can be logical, that means rational, We try to understand something that is irrational also, and something that is non-rational also. That means beyond rational. Do you love your parents? Why? Why? The question is why. You would say ये question rationality से beyond है ना, क्योंकि वो मेरे मम्मी पापा है इसलिए प्यार करता हूं. मतलब फिर मैं अगर ये क्वेश्चन पूछूं तो मतलब फिर यहां पे क्वेश्चन बंद हो जाता है. Isn't it? Actually, you did not answer the question. You just say that it is because they are my mother and father, so you did not answer the question. Then what? My question is then what? All the people are somebody's mummy papa. Then you say mere mummy papa hai. That's why I love. Isn't it? But you do not again answer my question. Right? Love. You said love के कारण कर रहा हूं. Is there any basis of love? Is this rationally? Can you prove it rationally? So it is beyond the rationality, beyond the logic. कि मुझे यहां लॉजिक यूज ही नहीं करना, मैं प्यार करता हूं, बस बोल दिया मैंने. Isn't it? So we try to understand different things, that why we worship people, why we worship cow, why we worship Sri Ram. We try to understand these things. Okay, there's a scholar called Emil Durkheim. He says society worship itself. What society does? Society worship itself. To elaborate it further, what he says, society worship its own values. Society worship its own values. Right? So values का importance कहाँ से आता है? Why values are important? Or do you really think this is true? Or do you want to contest it? We may contest it, but let's talk what he's trying to say. And then you will try to understand everything collectively. So he says, society, every society is based on some values. As long as the values remain, society remain. The moment values are gone, society is also gone. So society's survival is dependent on those values. So if society's survival is dependent on those values, how to maintain the value system? How to maintain the value system? You need to practice the values again and again and again and again so that society can survive. So these values, which are very, very important, they are given the sacred status. Sacred means that is vital for societal survival. How they are given sacred status? They are placed in an object, and this object is worshipped. This object is worshipped. This object can be a cow, people, or any other animal, or it can be a tree. So why the black buck? Salman Khan. You must have heard this. Salman Khan, Bishnoi tribe, Bishnoi community to be precise. तो ब्लैक बक की वर्शिप करते हैं वो. तो why श्री राम? मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री राम. You worship मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम. You worship values, not the individual. isn't it? So this is the idea of Emil Durkheim. Society अपने आप की ही पूजा करती है. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर वो खुद की पूजा नहीं करेगी तो वो खुद सर्वाइव नहीं कर सकती. So when we worship any object, we basically worship our own value system. The society rests on value system. Right. Now, what are values? Okay? These are subjective things. These are very, very subjective. That means meaning is given by the society. Why the meaning is given by the society? So, it may be that it is helping them to survive. Helping them to adapt to the environment. Here, I am bringing another idea. See, if there is a cow would give you milk. If not milk, then it would give you a dung. Right? And along with dung, labor, traction in the farm. So it would serve multiple purposes. Okay? And since it is serving the multiple purposes, that's how it is being worshipped. So initially, why the worship might have started? Because it helped the people to survive. It helped the people to adapt. Okay? Cow means insurance. During the famine. Cow means nutrition. Why? If agrarian society is there, from where you will get the protein, from where you will get the other nutrients that are not available in the crops. So it is basically nutritional insurance, it is the environmental insurance, and since it helped in adaptation, it was worshipped. Okay? Why other animals were not? Maybe, now I'm assuming or something, maybe in that time the society that developed, evolved, adapted, they have cows. They did not have other animals. They might have came later. That could be the explanation. And there are people who worship buffalo also. It's not like that there are people who worship cow only. There are people who worship buffalo. There's a society in South India, Toda. They worship buffalo. Their main totem, main god is in buffalo. So culture developed in a unique way. तो जिसका कल्चर जिस चीज के अराउंड डेवलप हुआ है वो उसकी वर्शिप कर रहे हैं. तो why cow worship? Because the people who have developed this culture, they survived, they subsisted on cows. So that's why they are worshipping cow. ठीक है? Maybe buffalo was not part of their daily subsistence. So they don't worship it. That's as simple as that. That may be a later addition into their society. Now if you go to Haryana, you might have hear a very good breed, Murra. Have you heard Murra breed of buffalo? That's very famous. It's very expensive also. More expensive than the cars. Right? And its milk is also sold at a very high price. Its ghee is also sold at a very high price. Murra. You need to know because you are also going to write GS. GS में मुर्रा या जो बेसिक मेन नस्ल है ब्रीड्स है, you must know. So Haryanvi people, they have Murra buffalo, and they also have these. So different societies have developed differently in different times, and accordingly they develop these belief systems. समझ में आ गया कि कैसे हम belief systems develop करते हैं? तो हम इन सबको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो what we try to understand the socio-cultural differences among the people. That means why people worship a particular object, right? Why families differ, why marriage systems differ, why people in different areas have different kind of political organization. Somewhere people live in bands, Bands are basically small groups. Among the tribal people. Have you heard Jarawas? It's a tribe in Andaman and Nicobar. Jarawa, very small tribe. बहुत कम लोग हैं इसमें. नहीं सुना कभी? ओके. सेंटिनलीज सुना है? उन्हीं के आसपास ही रहते हैं ये भी, जरावा भी. ठीक है. सेंटिनलीज तो इसलिए न्यूज में था ना 2018 में, दे किल्ड अमेरिकन मिशनरी. हैव यू हर्ड दैट न्यूज और नो? If not, do Google it. Sentinelese. ठीक है? So, what we are trying to understand that the tribal people, the small tribal people, they live in bands. Okay, band is a small group of up 40 to 120 individuals. इतने ही लोग रहते हैं इसमें. Right? All of these individuals have equal power because they are just an extended family. क्या होते हैं ये लोग? एक एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली होती है. सब लोग फैमिली मेंबर्स ही होते हैं, एक तरह से जुड़े होते हैं एक दूसरे से किसी न किसी तरीके से. ओके, सो दे लिव इन बैंड्स एंड डिसीजन मेकिंग इज कलेक्टिव, नो लीडर. एंड वी लिव इन स्टेट, एंड स्टेट इज वेयर वी हैव लीडर, वी हैव सेपरेट ऑर्गन्स ऑफ गवर्नेंस. देयर इज लेजिस्लेचर, देयर इज एग्जीक्यूटिव, देयर इज जुडिशियरी. There is more concentration of power. Among them, there is no concentration of power. Okay, these bands, they are very, very interesting groups. There is a scholar called Richard Lee. He went to study Kung. Kung. This exclamatory mark means Kung. They have a click language. That's how. So Kung people, he studied them for almost 3 years. In these 3 years of study, this Richard Lee, he found that they hardly fight. लड़ते ही नहीं है ये लोग. He documented just 54 incidents that involve physical fight and some arguments. Just 30 के आसपास ही फिजिकल क्लैशेस हुए, अदरवाइज जस्ट बात करके छोड़ दिया. राइट? सो दे डोंट फाइट मच, बट इन आवर सोसाइटी यू जस्ट गो इनटू दिस बिग बड़ा बाजार रोड एंड यू विल फाइंड एन नंबर ऑफ फाइट्स. एक गली पार करने में आपको सिर्फ लोग लड़ते हुए मिलेंगे, किसी ना किसी बात पे आर्ग्यूमेंट चल ही रहा होगा. Isn't it? So are we born to fight or not? So that idea you can take from here. What happened after his study was about to end? He thought of giving a feast to the people. He thought of giving feast to the people and he brought a cattle. कि मैं इनको पार्टी दे देता हूं, अब मुझे जाना है. When he brought that cattle to the people, everyone in the band, Kung band, that means all those 100 people, they started abusing him. What this cattle is, it's so lean, so thin. कितने लोगों को खाना है इसमें? एक ही आदमी खाएगा, तुम ही खा लो इसको, हमें नहीं चाहिए. कौन खा पाएगा इसको? So they started mocking him, abusing him, insulting him and all these things. And he got surprised, ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ? मैं अच्छा करना चाह रहा हूं और ये मेरे मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं. So he discussed with someone, his informer. He says that this is the mechanism to keep people grounded. कोई चने के झाड़ पे ना चढ़ जाए, उसको जमीन पे रखने के लिए ये एक मैकेनिज्म है. Now, why people mock others who try to do something better? Because if someone started doing better, he would start concentrating power. And if he start concentrating power in the jungle ecology, then what will happen? Cooperation would be difficult. And in jungle, if you don't cooperate, you cannot survive. समझ में आया? वहां पे अगर आप किसी ने एक पावरफुल पोजीशन ले लिया तो कॉपरेशन डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा. And if you don't cooperate, you won't survive. So it's a survival strategy of the people. So how society keep individuals who try to concentrate power? This is through abusing, mocking, insulting. So its insult is a cultural mechanism. ठीक है, आप भी करते हो सब? Haven't you tried this? कोई भी कुछ करता है? Come on, कुछ भी नहीं है, सब बकवास है, ज्यादा उछल मत, दिख रहा है मेरे को कितना है तू. You do this all, क्यों करते हो? Because you don't want that person to take a position. Because if that person take a position, what will happen? Then you will not be friends. There is a hierarchy. Friendship is gone then. Friendship vanished. Isn't it? Some of you, maybe someone gets elected. Would you start saying sir? या उसको गाली दोगे सबसे पहले मिलते ही? वो गाली देना एक कल्चरल मैकेनिज्म है टू कीप हिम और हर ग्राउंडेड. बिकॉज अगर उस मोमेंट में आपने उसको सर बोल दिया, देन हियरार्की आ गया. या कुछ भी बोला, आप करके बोलना शुरू कर दिया, देन हियरार्की आ गया. एंड द मोमेंट हियरार्की आ गया, दोस्ती खत्म हो गया. दोस्ती खत्म हो गया, दैट मीन्स द एक्सचेंज दैट वर टेकिंग प्लेस, that may be verbal exchange, that may be cooperation of any kind, that may be the bond of friendship, everything is vanished. Okay, so it's a cultural mechanism how relations are built on. You need to understand that. Okay, so how Richard Lee explained that. So we try to understand different types of political organization. We also try to understand different types of languages also, linguistic differences. In Rajasthan, there is a saying, कोस कोस पर पानी बदले, चार कोस पर वानी. Have you heard this? It is कोस कोस पर पानी बदले, कोस कोस पर पानी बदले, चार कोस पर वानी. That means what? It simply means, कोस means mile, right? माइल पे वाटर, पानी बदल जाता है, and 4 कोस पे वानी. That showcases the linguistic diversity in Rajasthan, and the same is true for India. India have thousands of languages. We have thousands of languages. And language is a vehicle to see this world. Language is a vehicle to see this world. You cannot see beyond language. You cannot think of anything beyond language. Do this simple exercise. Try to think of something beyond language. Think of something that has no word for it. Think of anything that has no word. सोच के बताओ. Is it possible? It's impossible. Why? Because you think through language. Suppose you say something about it, that this is this. So you have to invent a new word for it to tell others that this is what I have experienced. First you have to invent a word and then you convey it to the people. That means you have thought about it through language only. You created a word for it and then you told people this is this thing. Now suppose I told you about band. How you start thinking about it? You start thinking about band, about that social organization, that political organization through that word. You are looking at things through words. You and me are able to establish this communication through words only. I am taking into a different realm of anthropology. I have took to experience that monk's identity and a patient's identity. Isn't it? Those experiences are created by language. So we experience things through language. We experience emotions through language. Isn't it? If someone abuse you or say something that is offensive to you, what will you see? You will start boiling. कि अभी बस फोड़ दूंगा. Why it is happening? Emotions are also coming through language. Happiness, you got selected, congratulations. Emotion, language, isn't it? Everything is happening somehow in the form of language. There was a scholar Benjamin Lee Whorf. He wrote a piece of paper, Burning Icicles. He was a fire engineer in USA, and he was trying to understand the fire accidents in USA also. So what he found, that there was an accident in a factory in which few employees were smoking cigarettes. After the smoking is done, one of the employee threw a cigarette into some drums that were placed, some cylinders that were placed on one side, on which it is written inflammable. So he threw that burning cigarette on those cylinders, on those drums, thinking it is inflammable, it will not burn. That was the logic he applied, because in English is used for negation, invalid, inability. So in is used in negation. So that employee thought that inflammable means it will not burn, not flammable. ये उस एम्प्लॉय ने सोचा और उसने सिगरेट फेंक दिया. तो लैंग्वेज इज द बेसिस फॉर थॉट and that inspire action. This is a theory in anthropology. That is Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. What it says, language shapes cognition. Cognition means thought. And that shape cultural behavior. Right? Now read this theory. Inflammable language, thought नहीं जलेगा, सिगरेट फेंक दिया, जल गया. Understood? Inflammable, that was the language. Thought क्या आया? नहीं जलेगा. Cultural behavior, throwing the cigarette, and it burnt. Understood? So this is what you need to understand, that language is a very, very important aspect of humans. Language is what makes us human. Language is what makes us human, because everything that you can think of is there with other animals also. But can they unite in 1.4 individuals? If apes could unite, then there would be planet of apes. The only thing that they need is language to unite. What is uniting us? Language. Language is the basis of that unity. That means what we share, we all 1.4 billion people, what we share? We share that idea of India. All of us share the idea of India. This idea of India is a mental construct, isn't it? This idea of India is a mental construct, and we all share this idea, isn't it? We all share this idea of India. Do you share or not? How ideas come? Ideas come through language. Ideas are based on language. So, what is uniting us? Language. Isn't it? Language is responsible for those mental constructions that you hold about everything. Caste, religion, everything. You feel, you think, you believe through language. Right? That is the most essential attribute of culture. We say Indian culture. Isn't it? Now, in this culture, we say that India has multiple languages. But within that diversity, what we say, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We all are one. despite of that linguistic diversity, we all Indians are one. How we communicate this idea? Through language. That we do share differences, but in spite of so many differences, we are one. This is what the power of language is. Okay, so we try to understand humans in its entirety. What is a human? Right? What make human different from an animal? Okay, so this is what we are going to understand slowly and steadily. How we are going to understand, I think you must know. So our pedagogy, it includes first understanding the concepts, second taking notes in the classroom. These notes are the most comprehensive document that you will have. It will cover everything that you need for UPSC. I can assure you, your paper will not be out of these notes. And you can go and check last 5-6 years paper and our notes of that year. Except one or two question, one question I would say. One can be a bouncer. Other than that, all questions are discussed directly. Okay? So, if you just follow this, I can assure you 320 plus. Depending upon उस साल कितने नंबर टॉपर के आए हैं. ठीक है? Third thing that we do in the class regularly is synopsis. That means your class should be on a single sheet of paper. One class on a single sheet. That means at the end of the syllabus, you will have just 120 to 130 pages. And that you can revise any day in just 2 hours. Okay? Other than that, daily answer writing. It will serve two purposes. One, I will get to know your weaknesses, what you fail to understand, and you will get to know your weaknesses. Okay? And other than knowing the weaknesses, you also start learning to write. Because on a daily basis when you write, you will improve daily. Suppose you write once in a week, then you will improve once in a week. Once you start writing on a daily basis, you will make incremental changes. 1% per day would make you 365 days change, right? So that's the main idea behind daily answer writing. Other than that, we do take weekly tests. Every Saturday there would be a test. Every Saturday there is a test. Understood? Other than that, there would be a test series after prelims. Why it is not after this? Because you are overwhelmed with writing practice. You cannot write just now. So this is after your prelims. So this is the overall understanding. Our focus is on conceptual clarity, retention, and reproducibility. That means you know the concept, right? You have memory of it, you retain it, and you can write it. So this is what our main pillars of our pedagogy are. You must know the things, you must retain the things, and you must write the things. See, how you score high in anthropology or any other part, scoring depend upon 4 things. Interpretation of the question, knowing what is asked, what is being asked in this question, that is interpretation of the question, knowing the demand of the question. Second is writing that simply and in a structured manner, right? That means simplicity plus structure. Third, addressing all dimensions, holism. That means write all the dimensions that are asked about that question. And fourth thing is connecting with the current affairs. Connecting with the current affairs. So interpretation, simplicity and structure, holistic, that means address all the dimensions, and relevance. Connect it with the day-to-day happenings that we started with. Whether it is Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral, whether it is that Monkwala story, right? Or any other thing that you can connect. Okay? So basically, every question would have something to do with the current affairs. Current affairs means whatever you have observed. Now, there is no need to memorize current affairs. I never recommend that. I just want you to have understanding of the topic. Because every day new examples are coming if you're reading newspaper regularly, and you can connect anything with anything. So there is not just one or two examples that you can cite. You can cite anything, depending you understand the concept. But if you don't understand the concept, then what will you do? You will try to mug up 2-3 एग्जाम्पल्स. अच्छा ये तो मैं वहीं फिट करूंगा. कभी कभार क्या होता है, आपने दिमाग में बिठा लिया मुझे ये फिट करना है वहां पे, बट क्वेश्चन ट्विस्ट करके पूछा गया है, एंड सिंस यू आर पोसेस्ड बाय दैट थॉट कि मुझे तो ये कनेक्ट करके ही दिखाना है क्योंकि मैंने उस टाइम पे सोचा था, तो आपने गलत फिट कर दिया है ना. तो आपका फोकस किस पे होना चाहिए? उसको मेमोराइज करने पे नहीं, कॉन्सेप्ट को समझने में होना चाहिए. इफ यू डू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट, यू कैन कनेक्ट एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. तो आवर पर्पस शुड बी ऑन दिस. You will retain this. Why? Because you are listening the concept multiple times. First, when you have discussed the concept, then you have taken the notes, then you have made synopsis of it, then you have written about it. So you have done 5 to 6 revisions in just 1 week. So you will retain it, and you are writing daily as well as weekly. So you will be able to learn how to write good quality answers. So this is what our purpose is. ठीक है? Understood? So this is what our pedagogy is, and that's how we can score maximum marks. ठीक है? See, I know how to write answers because I myself is a researcher in anthropology. I myself has given 5 interviews with UPSC, and last 3 interviews with anthropology, and before that I have also studied geography, public administration. So my first interview was with geography and pub ed, second was with geography only, and 3, 4 and 5 are with anthropology, and I have scored more than 300 marks. ठीक है, every time. That means a toppers league. ठीक है, तो आपको जो मैं बता रहा हूं अगर वो कर लिया, and I have seen my students doing excellent works. ठीक है, all the students that you see, including this guy, this time topper जो था वो भी हमारा स्टूडेंट था, 329 या 26. ठीक है, so this is what you can talk about our pedagogy. ठीक है, हाँ. Now after that you can talk about our classes from tomorrow. So classes, how many of you are doing classes